name is Sarah. My surname is Madingwana. I am basically from Davidson. That's where I grew up. That's my hometown. And I'm 20 years old, turning 21 on the 24th of January. Basically, I'm like a born free. And I went to Wordsworth High School. That's where I matriculated. I'm currently studying law, and I'm also an entrepreneur. I started my own company. The name of the company is called the Design Parliament. So I'm basically trying to fuse design and law together, hence the name. The Design Parliament is basically an umbrella for all things design, from fashion, interior, graphics, fine arts, website design, you name it. Everything design is just within the Design Parliament. So that's what I've been doing for this time. It was established in 2013 but formally registered in 2014. So we've just been pushing from one level to the next, from glory to glory. That's where we've headed to. Yeah, that's Sarah.
My name is Saul Mutite. I'm from the East Rand and grew up in the township called Highland.
My name is Deposiping. I'm from Kakasa in the restaurant. It's a place that I love. It's a place that I grew up in. It's a place that I still reside in. It's a place where I find peace, and it's a place that I thrive. It's a place where a lot of who I am has been formed by its history. I am a trainer for a youth development program. I'm a mentor. I'm a social entrepreneur. I'm an activist. Slowly, politics is taking an interest in me, and yeah, I'm a family person. I'm a Christian. I hold very strongly onto my values, which are informed by my faith, and I believe that integrity, commitment, development, and my faith are the things that drive me towards every single thing that I do. And my faith enables me to wake up every single morning and look forward to new beginnings. Yeah.
Okay, the issue about race, it's a very controversial topic, I must say. Some people feel very strongly about it. Other people pretty much don't care, you know. But I feel like we've come to a point where we can freely speak about whatever we feel, you know. We have freedom of expression, and if you wanted to voice out whatever it is that you feel about, then you have the platform to do that, you know. So I don't think people are shy about talking about race or anything like that, and I don't see why they should be shy. So if you have any opinions regarding that, then you should then freely speak about it. So I don't think anyone is shy to speak about race. No.
I'll say still a huge issue, and okay, I've seen this in social media. There's like one dimensional topics that, or like like white people will come with all these jokes that these black people and black people will try and defend some of the wrong things that black people in leadership do, especially politics. So, as you'd see, white people will be excited about it, and you see black people take offense for something that maybe President Zuma is doing or the ANC is doing. So, I'd still say there's still a race thing going.
Absolutely no blind eye. I think you only need to walk out of your household. You only need to go to a school and see that South Africa is not the dream that we envisioned. It is slowly regressing to a past that will deprive us of the rainbow nation that Nelson Mandela used to speak about, and those who came before him used to speak about, and everybody else who believes in this country, both black and white, Indian and colored, who are contributing towards this country are speaking about. I think it's not just a sensitive issue, it's a critical issue. It's an issue that plays itself out in the workplace. It's an issue that plays itself out into the streets. It's an issue that plays itself out into the social spaces that young people occupy. We're not seeing the integration that we need to see. We're not coming together. I mean, you just need to look at Parliament and see that even our leaders at the highest level are not a representation of the country. And of course, it has its own reasons, but it needs to start to transform it. And we need to have those difficult conversations that says, I am infringed by you, or I feel hard done by you, or I feel isolated by you, because there are minority groups who feel that they do not belong into this country. There are still groups who feel that history has robbed them of a sense of self, a sense of contribution into the country, but now we need to say, now that, how do we move forward and create a different story?
I see rainbow, and then when there's a color and something else, then I could see like race. But naturally, when you say color, I just think primary colors.
The one word that comes to my mind when I think of color, I think as a creative person, the first thing you think about is art. Yeah, color, art, artistry. Yeah, art.
Okay.
Creativity. Okay, no, art. Let's leave it there. Art.
Okay.
Currently, if I hear color, I see beautiful things, and the sad reality is that all these things for me are now becoming so vivid and so obscured because everything in this country has now become a barrier line, and color now dictates who you speak to, what you're entitled to. Color now dictates how you speak and who you should be speaking to, where you belong. Half of the time in this country we're saying that South Africa belongs or we dwell in it, but it is a reality that we do not live in. So color has become a very painful conversation for me, and one that I feel this far down the line in this country we should not be having conversations like that.
Definitely. I don't see a problem with dating anyone from an opposite or different race. I feel like you're still slaved or still entrapped if you're still going to worry about race and that sort of thing, you know? So, definitely, I really wouldn't mind dating someone who's completely different, someone white, someone Indian, you know? That shouldn't be an issue. We shouldn't even think about that, you know, having to consider race and that sort of thing. So, I would definitely go ahead and date someone from the opposite sex if we share, obviously, the same vision and idea and dream. Yeah.
I tend not to prefer to answer questions like that because would I marry someone who's outside of my ethnic race? Could also be an indicator. Why are we not asking that? Why do we see black and white being the extremes 20 years, 21 years down the line of South Africa? I don't know. Perhaps I live in the sky. Perhaps I live in a world that is ideological. But for me, I see people.
Yeah, I think it does. Growing up in South Africa, you can say South Africa in wherever in the world, but you'll always be referred to what apartheid, Mandela, and racism, all those things will just pop up. Yeah, so I think it does.
I'm black.
So that it gives you a sense of identity. Would you say that?
On the levels of a human being, on the levels of who I am, I am black. And there's nothing that will ever change that. But being black, I always say to people, I say, inferiority to me is not my complex. I went to an Afrikaans university, and I have never received any instance of racism personally. Currently, we have young people who are young, who are black, who are gifted and thriving. What do we say about those kind of people? They were not born into a different South Africa. They were born here where I live, and I think you need to take ownership of who you are. You need to stand firm upon your beliefs, and you need to say, you know what, this is who I am, and do not define me by my skin, but rather by my deeds. And that is when South Africa will become a better place, and culture evolves. Culture has been changing, and culture for my children, I see it as being different from what culture was for my mother and how she experienced it. But that by no means says we lose who we are, and that in itself does not say that as a society we lack meaningfulness. I think South Africa being what it is with its 9 official languages and by itself is a part of cultures, and how do you say one is more superior to the other? So I love it. I love being who I am, and I love being a black Tswana female, and that says I have a part to play in this country. Yeah.
Skin color, for one, to me, it really doesn't matter. It means so little to me. It shouldn't be something as important or something that we should center and make it like such a big deal. You know, I came here as a person, not firstly as a color, if I could put it that way. So, as for identity, I feel like it contributes to your identity when we refer to racial identity, you know. But when we look at the word identity on its own, I feel like your identity is influenced by character, you know, character, the person that you are, or the morals and values that you believe in, you know. So color, it doesn't necessarily influence your identity, but I feel like as a person, we should just look at it as a person, you as a person as a whole. Though we could say that it does influence on a racial basis. Like if you're gonna say racial identity, then yeah, obviously I'm a African lady, so I fall under that. But we should just like think out of the box and move away from trying to box ourselves into this type of person or this color, or you know. But I feel like your character is most important. That's what contributes your identity, the type of person that you are, the type of person you're trying to grow up to be, the morals that you follow, the values, and yeah, that's what I in all honesty, like I don't care, hey, whether I'm in a public space, how you're gonna treat me, that really doesn't bother me. So if another person feels the need to treat me a different way because of the way I look, the way I am, I'm really not bothered.
Okay, the thing with race in South Africa is it's always black and white, and when you approach, or when I approach a white person, I'd look at him white, and I think,
not as human.
yeah, like, okay, I'm dealing with a white person. Let me
So
put
you
on
change,
let me put on my whatever
personality,
yeah, let me
change
put on a
personalities.
personality for white person, and when I meet a black person, I'll put on that personality for a black person.
For me, we always have a struggle.
Mm-hmm.
As I said previously, with the world changing at the fast pace that it is, with so many advancements that are happening in society, in the world, in the economy, when you look at how this country attained its freedom, it was incumbent upon the young people at the time to say that this was not right. They took a stand and they took action. And if you look around you, you don't need to be told what the challenges of a young person are in this country. You need to look at the statistics themselves. You need to go down the streets only to see the daily struggles of a young person, black, white, Indian, male and female, and to say, how do we now take charge of the situation? How do we do that without violating the rights of others? Because I feel that the reason why we are seen to be a doomed and a lost generation is because of the radicalness we seem to occupy in the mind, but lack that in action, lack that a lot in implementation. Young people seem to think that they have time on their sides and we don't. And I think the sooner we realize that, the better we will be to equip ourselves and one another to say, this is the struggle of this generation, and this is how we will stop at nothing to move it forward for the ones to come. The ones who came before us paved the way to be free enough to enable us the capacity to do better. But what are we now, as the generation of the 21st century, saying to make life easier, to make life better, to make life safer, to make life inhabitable for our children and those who will come?
Yeah, we're still fighting. We're still fighting because I think the older generation are still like teaching it to the younger generation. So it's gonna be a long while until maybe it's like completely finished.
Okay, this generation, the 21st century generation, I feel like regarding race, that shouldn't be the struggle that we're fighting for right now. You know, I feel like, okay, our parents have fought for us. You know, so we need to continue what they started, but not necessarily fighting about race and those sort of issues. You know, right now we should be fighting for things like economic freedom. You know, we should, as people, better ourselves. For one, I feel like that is the one thing that we should be focusing on as young people. You know, we should basically, I mean, we have so many opportunities. We need to use those opportunities to the best of our abilities. You know, we need to take advantage of every opportunity, every little thing that comes to us. We need to take it, use it, and grow from it. We need to grow. We need to evolve. Entrepreneurs, businesses. You know, we need to start that. You know, we need to stop moaning and crying about stupid things. You know, we should actually just start taking actions for our lives. That is the struggle. Your life as a person, that should be the only struggle that you're fighting for. And if you can better your life, you can be able to impact someone else's life, you know, and you can be able to create opportunities for other people, you know. So I feel like this generation just needs to stand up and stop depending and start being dependent.
The recipe for dealing with race starts with dialogue. It starts with saying what is on your mind. It starts with peeling off the thick layers of hatred and infringement. It starts with saying this is where we are, but this is not a place where young people should be. It is a thing that we need to speak of, and it is a thing that we need to start to translate into implementable actions. We need to start seeing it in every sphere of society. We need to start seeing it in government. We need to start seeing it in business. We need to start hearing it in how we speak, in what we teach our children, in what we find ourselves saying also as people. It needs to start in us not encouraging hatred. It needs to start with us saying no when one stands to benefit at the cost of another in the name of race. We need to start taking action because no policy is going to govern that, and no president is going to govern that, and no amount of money is going to change the mindset. We need to, as people, be accountable for that ourselves, because at stake is not just us, but it is the good of society, and it is what we want to achieve, and it's what needs to be done. We need to do the right thing, and the right thing dictates that we need to make concessions, and those concessions say, yes, I know I own my history, but I decided to look past those things and move forward because I am not a victim of my society, and I am not a victim of my skin color, and I will be a better person for that. And so I think to my generation, I'm basically saying that take charge.
We cannot turn a blind eye to the situation of race and all of that, because that's where it actually all started, racial denomination and racial division and that sort. So if we want to move forward with that, what we can do, we can basically get, when kids are growing up, we can get kids from different environments, from the township or poor family, and we can get children from the upper class or rich families, and we can kind of like put them in one camp, so that they engage, or we teach.
Creative ideas, okay, that's going together to school, and then there's that living together in suburbs and all of that. I say, okay, but that's still depends how much money you have, and you don't see why too many white people in the township. So it still says they're still rich, and so I think if there could be, if we can try and create one community in South Africa, short of ideas of how to do that, but if we can find a way to have one community in South Africa, so we can all live together, who is now we're moving in a maybe couple of years, we could move from the race thing and enter a new phase, a rich and poor thing, and then it's still gonna be all the rich people, which will be white and black, and the majority of the poor will be just black. So
There's still a gap.
there's still another gap. If we can just bridge that gap and put everyone in sort of par, yeah, so that's when we can maybe bridge that gap.